Hello, Divine Ones! Welcome. This is One Divine Light, and today the guides are going to be sharing a message in direct response to a viewer's question. So Astrid, thank you so much for your question that you left in the comments section. When I went in to respond to your question, there was just so much information that was coming through from the guides that it just really required this message. So let's tap into this and see about what the guides have to say. Dear ones, separation is really the biggest issue. And this idea of a separate self. Anything that you do for yourself, you do for others. And we would really say that the realization of your true nature, your true state, your divine self would be your greatest expression. To have a divine known in form. Right now, divine is known as like an outside concept, a man in the sky. Some types of like rituals that you may perform over and over again. This idea of divinity or God, Christ consciousness, source, is this outside thing. And even if you think it's an inside thing, you don't really believe that it is. And more importantly than that, you haven't had the experience that it actually is. And that's really the thing. So I'm wearing this shirt today. It says, be kind. Be kind to one another, and kind to yourselves, because you are all on this like exploration. And the way they're showing this to me is very funny. You're all on this exploration to this opening to which you realize there was nowhere to ever go. And you have spent your life trying to go places when there was nowhere to go. Now, we will say that whatever it is that you undertake, whatever it is that you do, whatever vibration it is that you carry, is what you are sharing with others, whether they are under your roof or whether they are miles away or whether they are even in other dimensions. You think that you are separate, and the small self is very self-involved. Its world is very small. And you know this when you have like an issue happening in your life and you see how it takes over everything, so that it's just like the only thing that you are focused on is whatever the issue is or whatever the problem is or whatever it is you're trying to solve. And you realize how life is going by, but you're not even noticing that it's happening. And in this way, the small self thinks that everything revolves around it. But every single thing that you do goes into a unified field. And you could say that could you say that there are separate fields? Not really. But it's like, I don't even know how to describe this. Each dimension holds its own frequency range and its own field, but please know that all fields are just one field. Like everything else that we have explained previously, that everything is divine in form, in forming a field. So even if you think of dimensions and planets are simply divinity taking a form. Earth is divine form. And this is really the crux of it all, isn't it? Is that we don't see each other as divine. And so the guides are saying to you, Astrid, what is your intention? What is your purpose? And this really is for all of you. But since Astrid asked the question, the guides are saying, Astrid, what is your intention? Are you wishing to change those that are under your roof? Are you wishing to protect yourself from others that are under your roof, like protect your energy from others that are under your roof? And this really goes for like everyone or a vast amount of people. Because in relationship, regardless of the relationship, could be work related, doesn't matter. Whatever you want to label that relationship as, it doesn't matter. There is always this idea that the other person or the people are not divinity. They're not divine. You don't treat each other like you are God. Like you are source. And we will like to use the word God today because even though the way that you think of God is very different for each person, and this word is heavily laden with ideas and concepts. Still, you could use this word, or you could use a divinity or royalty or anything else you wanted. You know, when you have a family member or a close friend, you might not treat them as well as you treat even a stranger on the street, right? You put on like an air, you put on a mask. And in this way, you sometimes treat others outside of your home better than you treat inside your home. And also you treat others better than maybe you treat yourself. Maybe you have a lot of negative self-talk. It is only when you realize your own worth, and that is an inherent worth of all beings and all things. And this inherent worth, where all are worthy, but specifically you, you're not separate, but it is through the realization of this individually that you realize there is no separation collectively. Do you understand? This is really the heart of the issue for humanity, is this unwillingness to see all things as divinity, as divine. So what is your intention? Do you have or hold the idea that others are flawed in some way? Do you hold the idea that others need to be pushed away, or their energy is dirty or a lower vibrational frequency? So what is your intention? Intentionality is very important because you will see with intentionality, where are you creating this intention from? Who is creating this intention and who has the need to create the intention? And we are not saying that there is anything wrong with intentions. I mean, intentions are very important. Whether you intended to hurt somebody or not, this is important, right? So, what impact would this transmission or any transmission playing in the background have on other people? Well, what is the impact that it has on you, and what is your need to play it for other people? Are you playing it for yourself? Or are you playing it so that they will hear it and hopefully change? Are you playing it so they will hear it and hopefully uplift? And is this upliftment, this idea of them uplifting, and this is a serious question, is this idea of them uplifting so that they can benefit, or is it to make you feel more comfortable? This is it. We often want people to change so that we won't feel as uncomfortable around them. And if we really are honest with ourselves, and we are willing to look a little deeper at our intentionality here, we might find that our reason for wishing someone to change however that may be. And perhaps even you might have the noble idea that you wish somebody to meditate or do yoga or listen to these transmissions because you feel like if they just did that, they would feel better and they would be better. So te karasa, or and one is not better than the other when they're giving this and an or. Or are you wanting to play this transmission or anything in the background, whatever it is, because it makes you uncomfortable the way that they are, creates a discomfort within yourself, in which case this all comes back to you. And in any case, it always comes back to you. And really being mindful to do for yourself and what is the intention for it. If you are playing a transmission in your home so that you yourself can use it as a container for your own upliftment, to open more fully to your soul's purpose, your soul, and to have that connection, to open to that connection that's already there. Sure. If your intentionality, that someone is less than, and we have said this a lot of times, if someone else is less than, and there is a judgment there, and you are saying, oh, poor them, or if only they would just do this, if they would just listen to me, if they would just do this thing, everything would be better. And we would say, if these types of thoughts come into anyone's mind, like if only they would be better, then it's time for you to go inside. And this is it in a little box, in a little nutshell, is thinking that people need to do better and be better. And there's no denying that there are people that are doing things that are harmful and that are not in the best interest of others. And would it be wonderful, if they were doing things in the interest of all people? Yes. And what if they were doing things that looked horrible on the outside, and now I'm just questioning them about this. What if they looked horrible on the outside, and actually it was your opportunity for upliftment and realization. Everything is the opportunity for realization, as we have said and stated many times and in the previous transmission, that everything is for this awakening, for your awakening, for realization. And what are you realizing? You're realizing your divine self. And in the realization of this, you realize that it is not a separate self. All things are this divine self. All things have this divine essence that you share. And it is really in acknowledging each other's divine essence that things change. So do you need to play anything in the background, regardless of whether it's this transmission or anything else, and they're specifically showing me like energy healing or chakra, bowls, singing bowls, or any other things that you might do. Can you do them? Sure you can. Take a look at your mind while you're doing it. We would really encourage this. Because yes, you can use words that are repelling what you would call negative energy. And this is very important. You could use words that are repelling negative energy. You could be cutting cords. You could be doing smudging, anything. You could be doing all these things to remove negativity, yes. And what is your mindset? Because this is the time where actually you're being called to a higher accord, where things like energy clearing are not about getting rid of something as much as they are opening up to what is. And in this case, and to answer Astrid's question, all those that are vibrating at a lower frequency that you might call dark, or you might label as anything else, Anasori Tikarasa Tikarasa will receive what it is that they are meant to receive and capable of receiving. And so you may play anything in your background, but if your intentionality is to change someone because you don't see their divinity, then yes, you are creating the idea of separation, and you are continuing to feed into the same idea that Yorosokorosa is the biggest problem within humanity. And Isekarasa, the idea of a separate self, and the idea of even spiritual superiority, Anasotokoro, which is a huge issue. I am way more evolved than you are. And my practice, my religion, my lineage, my rituals, my teachers, they're all better than yours. And sometimes the best teacher is being on the streets. Now they're reminding me of Eckhart Tolle, because for a period of time, I believe he was with very low means, and even living like without shelter, like homeless, and they're saying, the circumstances isn't what equals the holiness. The circumstances, something could look dirty, and it is just waiting for you to claim it in light. Everything that you deem to be dark is waiting to be reclaimed as light. This is the message. Everything is to be reclaimed as light, and you cannot do this unless you reclaim those parts of yourself as light first. Otherwise, you will be looking at another person, praying and wishing, fingers crossed. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light. And when your heart feels good and happy, it's easy to say. But when your heart feels angry and bitter, and sad, then it is bypassing or sugarcoating, trying to say, oh, you are the light, you are the light. No, either one of these scenarios is not the way. The way is to know beyond intellect, your light, which is the light of all beings. So if you play anything in the background of your home, will it change the vibration of the home? Yes, indeed, everything carries a vibration. This message carries a vibration, and wherever it is heard, be with ears and beyond ears, it can change the environment. So can really anything and everything. Your anger is changing your environment and is being felt by the people around you. But here, let's use this as an example. If you are feeling very angry, and you have somebody close to you in your home, let's say, or your work, and they are very sensitive to you and your energy, and they are very angry, you might pick up on it, and you might start to feel worried or afraid, or you might feel compassionate towards it, and you might, ask them a question about it, or you may not be on their wavelength at all. You may be like pie in the sky, thinking about all kinds of wonderful possibilities, and you may not be tuned into their stream of anger. And in this way, you may not connect with that anger. So whatever their anger is, it may not be affecting you at all. And you may also be recognizing their anger and be asking them about it. And at the same time, even when they are responding to you back, you are neutral about it. You are so strong in your presence of being that you are not shaken or wavered. And please let us say this, because there are many ways of grounding and this idea of grounding, but it really is being in the presence of being, rooted in the presence of being, that is the ultimate roots and foundation for the tree. That doesn't matter the storm, the tree might wave, but its staple is by those roots, by that foundation, and that foundation is your presence. It is being present. So someone could come to you with all their fire, and you could be present for it and not be affected. So it will only impact to the degree that it can impact, and to the degree that someone wishes to let it in. Sometimes people say, Anasokorosa, there is this dark energy, there's this dark force, there's this dark thing over top of me. And also we would say to you, while there may be many reasons for this type of feeling, nothing can attack you or get you or persuade you without your alignment to it, without your vibrational alignment to it, without your alignment to it. And the best cleansing you can do is what we do with you, is the light of truth expands and you open to what is already expansive. Your awareness of the light of truth expands. Your awareness of the light of truth expands. And in that you see the expansiveness, or you experience the expansiveness of the light. And you see all things as light. It doesn't mean that you stop seeing war. It doesn't mean that you put on a brave face and go, it's going to be okay. It's not this either. But you have a deep knowing, a deep peace within you that knows that the ego doesn't know, and can only make its best guesses based on yesterday's events, yesterday's ideas, and on memories. So yes, you can play whatever you wish to play in your environment, as long as it's not disruptive to others, right? We don't want to bother another person's mind, disturb another person's mind intentionally, and watch your own mind and your own intentions, and what is your purpose, and why are you doing what you're doing, and what is the necessity of doing what you're doing. Are you doing it, like we said, so that you may open more fully to the divinity that you are, or do you hold the idea that someone or something is wrong and needs to change? There is nothing wrong with utilizing any of the things we spoke about today, whether they're smudging or crystals or energy healing or any other sound baths or anything, Reiki, anything. There's nothing wrong with using all these things. All these things are wonderful tools that you can use. As we said previously, within the earth plane, there are certain tools that you may use. One of the tools is your body. So this is a sidetrack, but they asked me to share it now, so I'm going to. I've tried to use pendulums before, and they didn't work for me. And I was like, I just want to use this pendulum. And I kept trying to find pendulums and do all this stuff until I realized my body was the pendulum. And I could use oracle cards or tarot cards or any of these things. Also, I don't need to. And I used to use them. I think it's probably been a year now since I've really used them. I can use them, and they're just another tool, and I don't need to use them. There's nothing wrong with using them. For sure you can. They're just all different ways. So, we would say that each person has their own way of tapping in or expanding into or using tools to open to their divinity. Each has their own container, if you would, as a way to open and expand, and each has their own way of like clearing and protection and all of these things. And at the same time, we would say the ultimate protection is presence. In presence, you can be present to the present that you are, the gift that you are, and the gift that all are. This is the protection, because when you are present and you expand your awareness and you realize the divine that you are, the divine essence that you are, the divine love that you are, you realize all things are this. And we do mean all things. Yes, we mean other beings, but we also mean rocks and trees and everything. Like every single thing is it. Everything is this loving intelligence, regardless of how it's masked. And everything is now being called to be reclaimed as this loving intelligence, as this light. And that's your job. That's your job. Is to reclaim yourself and all aspects of yourself as light. And this is not you, the you that you believe you are, going on an expedition. That's it. I'm going to reclaim all my things as light. All my aspects of myself as light. And it starts maybe with this conscious thought that this is a possibility for me. And really, though, it moves into stillness, opening to the present moment, finding that stillness or that emptiness or that peace that resides here. And in this, you will realize your true nature, the true nature of all things, and the nature of what you call a human experience. And so, you can definitely utilize this as your first go-to before reaching for other tools. And we would always advise this. Now, we know that this is not always possible, and sometimes the thing that is needed is to utilize one of the tools, whether it's a transmission or whether it's a breathing technique or a yoga class or anything else. That might be the thing that needs to happen so that you can become present. Also, practice being present. And yes, we say practice being present, because even though it's not a practice, it starts as a practice and finishes as a merger, a loving merger of presence into presence, like the divine that you are, the vast spaciousness that you are, the love that you are, like you expand your awareness of it until you become it, and you know no separation here, and sometimes it requires other tools first to get there, and maybe that is listening to a transmission, but we would still say that if you were to have a practice of something, like a spiritual practice, and we don't want to tell people what the most spiritual practice of all is, but what if we were to say it was to simply be? And they're saying be, like my shirt with a B on it, and be as you be, be. Be, and in this all is known. So hopefully, this answers your question. And we would just to wrap this in a bow is to say, be present in this way. You expand You have the ability to expand your awareness of your divinity and the divinity of all things. And in this way, you reclaim all things as light, the light that they are, the love that they are. This is the healing. All things being reclaimed as light. This is the healing of the earth, and all things. And is there somebody doing the healing? No, it is being re-seen as what it always has been, which has never been flawed, never been harmed, never been scarred or marked. So they're showing me global warming and the deforestation of the earth and pollution and the oceans. And they're showing me all this, and they're saying, you can run around for a lifetime trying to fix this, and sure, this is helpful. However, it will really stop when all is reclaimed as the light. I'm asking, because they're saying, you can run around, you can do this, and some people will be on board and some people won't. And it might be at the point where your back is against the wall before, and usually it is when your back is against the wall, when you finally decide to change. Sometimes it is those painful things that spark the change, but the change isn't going to just be a change of we're going to change the way we're going to do things, because that's like policies and procedures, and this is a message of the heart. And the heart of the matter is that when you see the heart of all matter, and that heart is divine heart, and that heart is divine love, you will not harm one another. You will not do these things to one another. And this is really the thing that will affect the change. So what makes this happen, or what gives the opportunity for this to happen, is being present. This is your safeguard against anything and everything. And it's not a hypervigilance. It is actually opening to a more expansive state in every moment, is expanding your awareness outside of what the mind is telling you, and the small self narratives and stories, is what is happening in a more expanded state. Expand your awareness of the present moment, and you will find that there are glorious things here, and that there is light everywhere. And it is in seeing that light that the opportunity for change comes about. And you don't necessarily have to blast it like the movie Say Anything, and he holds a stereo up over top of his head with the boombox, with the song. Now they're playing the song. So it's not that you have to go out there and blast all this healing and smudging and prayers and all this, and you can. And you can also just sit where you are and expand your being and expand your awareness. And in this, you will realize expanded consciousness. You think you're expanding your consciousness, and in one way you could say, yes, you are, but really in another more accurate way, you would be saying that you are becoming more aware of, you are opening up to the expanded state that you already are. You're already it. You don't have to create altered states of consciousness. It is creating the conditions for altered states of consciousness, and it all starts with the same seed of presence. Be present for the present that you are, for the gift that you are, and the gift that others are. Okay, instead of having fear around other people and other people's energy and a negative energy, You are being called to expand your awareness, expand, to be present and expand your awareness in this way that you can realize the divinity that you are and the divinity that all is. And this in itself places this information, if you would, this vibration, if you like, in the field of its existence, instead of putting the vibration of fear in the field. So if through presence you feel that it is the thing to do, to play transmission or play music or smudge or crystals or whatever it is, through that gateway, through that knowing, we would say, yes, please, do what is being called, what is necessary, what is to be done. And at the same time, if you are scrambling around everywhere, looking for like your mala beads and your holy water and your, whatever things to just get this negativity away from you, you're putting more fear into the field. And this idea that things are to be run from, open to the light. We want this to be called open to the light. Open to the light. This is it. Open to the light. This is the solution to the perceived problem. And it is a perceived problem. And it is a created problem. Even solutions are sometimes solutions are solutions are solutions to a perceived problem that wouldn't exist if you didn't create the problem to begin with. And what is the problem? Separation and judgment. But Astrid, we wish you to know that this is like a common experience of judgment and separation. And it is your job, all of you, like all of us, to expand into the light. Expand, open to the light. That's it. It's here now. And in this state, it literally has the option to so one, anything that is not in the vibration of this light will not be seen, will not be experienced. The same way as you are not holding the vibration of the sixth dimension, therefore you are not experiencing the sixth dimension. You are not experiencing the 12th dimension. You are not experiencing this dimension because you are not holding the frequency of this dimension. If you were holding the frequency of this dimension, you would experience this dimension. Within this dimension, there is a range of frequencies. And depending on your frequency at any given time, depends on what you experience within this range of frequencies. So it is really for you to open to the light that you are and the light that all is. And instead of reaching for things that out of ideas of fear or separation or judgment, is expanding to the light. Expanding through the light. How is this, please? Opening to the expansive state of light that you are. Okay, so beautiful. Sometimes they're saying something and I know that I'm not saying it exactly correctly, so I have to ask them to give me the feeling of it, and then that I can get the wording, and be the light that you are. That's it. Fear creates more fear. Love creates more love. And presence opens you to an experience that is beyond the ideas of fear and love, and moves you into the experience of love as a state of being, as an original state of being, rather than an experience of love. An energy hug. We haven't had this in a long time. So the guides are hugging, and you can hug them back if you like. It's like an energetic hug. And there's so much love here for you and humanity, and for all of us. Because the love that I'm experiencing right now, they're telling me the experience of love that I'm feeling, true love, to answer another one of Astrid's questions, about what true love would feel like. True love isn't a feeling, it's an experience of being. And now they're doing this. I've never experienced this before, where they're like blowing a kiss, and they're like doing like this, like a waving, like a bye. We love you deeply, and we are deeply grateful for this opportunity to connect, and to share, to exchange, to create, and to be. Okay. Thank you so much to Astrid and for your question, and thank you to the guides for sharing in this transmission today, in this message today. And as always, we're sending you so much love. Thank you.